here is the video review for X2 Toys XT005 Furrow and Rotor, which you may recognize as the Autobot clones Fastlane and Cloudraker. And again, in robot mode, they are very similar. They have a few differences like the originals did. They are very similar in robot mode, which you would not guess by looking at these two here in vehicle mode. They're very vastly different vehicles. I think Furrow works better in alt mode than Rotor does. Mostly just because if you look at it from the top, you just have a few gaps in him. But it's a neat looking big kind of heavy jet. And it looks like if he were attacking somebody, he'd probably wreck you pretty well. But yeah, like I said, I think Furrow or Rotor is a really cool jet. Furrow is a really awesome little race car here. And I guess that's really my only complaint. I think I'd like Rotor a little more if the cockpit were a little bit more pronounced, like a little bit bigger on the ship, because as you can see here, it's just a tiny little blue piece. Rotor does have yellow plastic and yellow highlights, whereas Furrow does, and Rotor has blue on highlights and blue clear plastic on him as well. But they're very nice. They have a really nice heft to them. Like they feel, the plastic feels very fans project-y, for lack of a better term. It's got that same stiff, it's got that same texture and feel to it. So it's very nice. I mean, like I said, the thighs are die cast. There's some good heft to these guys. Like they don't feel cheap. They're really nice. That just pops off. That one that doesn't plug on very well. I haven't pushed that in tight enough. But yeah, these just peg on right here. And that connection is a little loose. It's something I was going to get to in the review, but like I said, when you push it on all the way, it stays on pretty well, but it can get knocked off very easily. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to if you bump this thing, it's going to come loose a little bit. Like I said, push it on, it'll stay, but it doesn't take a whole lot of force. Just tapping it will knock it off. But for the most part, it's going to stay in place. Yeah, that was an issue I was going to get to later in the review, but there you go. It's not horrible, but it is an issue if you're trying to keep it on. If you just want to pick up the card, like I said, just touching with your pinky can pop it off. And I haven't found any other way of securing it in this mode. So there they are in vehicle mode. And before we go into robot mode, a couple of little things. One, inside the box was also a little plastic or kind of foil baggie that included the DKP002, the designer's kitting product. It's colored to look like Ravage, but it's clearly designed after like a Voltron-esque lion, and he turns into a handgun or a hand weapon. He does have a little opening mouth with some little guns inside. You can flip those down, just have an opening mouth, or you can flop those little guns out and give him like a little mouth gun. There we go. You can give him kind of some mouth lasers there. He's got this little fin up here, and he's pretty posable. We'll get to him later on in the review, but it's got like a little hinge joint here and all that. But neat little product to come with him, and like I said, we'll show him off a little bit later on. The packaging is very G1 inspired with the grid and the red. And if you flip it around, it even has, they come in robot mode in a little window box on the back. So I really like the box on these guys. Also included in the box are a couple of lenticular cards that alternate back and forth between their vehicle and robot modes. And they make that fun little lenticular card noise that I used to always do with these things when I was a kid. You get the instruction manual, and the instruction manual, it's a lot of tiny little pictures, as you can see, and it's a little hard to follow at times, because it starts off kind of, there's arrows that guide you, but it starts off up here and it kind of winds back and forth down the page, so it's a little easy to get confused when doing these, and even some of the steps are not 100% clear of exactly what parts you're supposed to move. And what I found the easiest thing to do is start at each step, and I just find the end step of what things should look like, and then make it look like that. It seems to be a little easier than following every little bit of the instructions. But how you work is entirely up to you. I'm sure there are some people that are going to be just fine using these, and more power to you. The thing is, if that's not confusing, one of the things that, or if it is too confusing for you, one of the things that I really like that they did here is inside the package was also this little 1 gig flash drive. And on this flash drive are video tutorials for the transformation. So that's a cool little, like, I don't know why more people don't do this. That's a neat little idea that, like, good on them for doing that. I think that's a cool little addition. So anyway, on to these guys themselves. Before we go into robot mode, they do have a combined vehicle mode, which just kind of makes it turns it into a longer jet. And it's not that hard to get to. You want to pop these off. And then he stays pretty much in vehicle mode, except you want to unpeg these wheels here. They peg off the side, and they rotate around and peg onto the underneath here. And that's where they're going to end up in robot mode as well. I'll flip these up. Get a hinge line, peg that in. And then these panels right here have little wheels on the end. You want to flip these down into the middle like this on Furrow. Now on Rotor, you want to come up here, unpeg this gun, and then pull this piece off the back. And then his arms, unpeg the wings from his arms. And then rotate them forward. So they sit up here, plug that back. That piece is not supposed to come unpegged yet. This piece pegs in right under here. There we go, like this. Oh, come on. There we go. And there we go, okay. Just rotate the arms forward. Up like that, and then flip up these little clips on his arms, up on the upper shoulder here. And pull the wings back in. And you're going to do the same thing here. On the top of his arms, he's got the same clips, but reversed. Well, I guess they're actually not reversed, but since they are reversed, since they're facing two different directions. And then just clip them together here like this. Yep. If one is stiffer than the other and you don't have them lined up right, it's going to pop them apart. There you go. Clip those together like that. And then you have the base of the elongated jet here. And take these, open this gun up, flip that post down like that. Right next to the gun handle on this one, there's another post. And you're just going to peg the two guns together like that. And then take these right here, there's a couple pegs right here, and peg these on to the gun back here. And then you just take this and you'll see there's a hole right here that can peg on right here. And then these pegs peg into the holes here on the front of Furrow. Just like that. And snap it on. There you go, like that. And it's like I said, it's only really supported the connection here by these clips. So, which are pretty stiff, but if you just hold it by one point, it's not going to hold together, but you just kind of push it all together. And there is a combined, like, longer jet form, which is neat. It almost feels like there should be a helicopter blade coming out of it, because it has a very helicopterish shape and size to it. But just if you want to hook them together, they do have this combined mode of a larger jet, which is kind of neat. Not necessary functionality. I like them a lot better as separate pieces, but that functionality is there if you choose to use it. So let's go ahead and pop this off. Put his pieces with him, and we'll leave it at that. Go ahead and flip this up, separate the two guns, and set them off to the side for transformation. And his fins also can sit back here. So now how to transform them into robot mode. And this is where it gets tricky, because you can see there's a lot of these panels fold and flip past each other. This piece obviously is going to come up. You're going to unhook this from here. The legs come down and around like this. And you can see that piece slides up back into the thigh there. And bring his legs down to the front. I rotate his knees around here. And like I said, that's pretty straightforward. The arms are pretty straightforward. You're going to unpeg these pieces. These pieces attach. These unpeg from the side and up into here. These pieces attach to the side of the gun here. For one of the guns. And the arms just fold back into place here. Flip his fists out. twist them around to face the front. Same up here. And rotate them to face the front. This piece comes up onto the back. Should come up higher than that, I thought. Oh, well, we'll figure that out in a minute. Oh, right, this rotates. As you bring this down, this whole piece rotates on the joint. There we go. And the joint comes back up. Plugs into the back like this. And then these side panels here fold down. Yeah, if I can get my finger in there. These fold down like this. And they're clipped into the body, so it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. There we go. These fold down like this. And then this clip right here folds back and clips onto the nose cone and holds the nose cone in place a little better. Just an extra way to lock it in. Just like that. You see they've got some torso movement there, which we'll get to later on in the review. Fold the clips in. And the feet. And here's where it gets really complicated, because these all fold around. You got to unpeg these, unclip that from the foot, fold that up. And these panels rotate around, and then you bring the whole foot down. Wait, this rotates around like this. You rotate this whole thing around the foot like that. You're essentially trying to get these wheel wells in behind the... All right, this piece rotates, doesn't it? I had this down earlier. You want to get this piece up into that groove there. And then bring the foot, yeah, there we go, bring the foot down around like that. Fold this piece in. Fold that piece up, fold that piece in. I still feel like this piece had hid a little better. It should, yeah, this piece should fold all the way around. Oh yeah, that piece rotates all the way around. There we go. Rotates all the way around, and then this pegs on right there. There we go, and there's his leg. You can actually leave this out as a heel spur if you want, but it's supposed to be folded in like that. And there's a leg. So same on this side. Let's see if we remember how we did that. I'll rotate that in. It should rotate all the way up and around like that. This whole piece rotates up. It helps if you have all the leg pieces out of the way. Fold that all the way around to the side of the leg and peg that on. Bring this up, rotate it, and put it in that slot. Rotate the foot down, flip that up, and flip that in. There we go. And rotate the hip so the knee functions the proper way. And then open this up. Nope. Open this all the way up, flip his head up. Come here, head. Alright, maybe we have to use a little piece to pop his head up. There we go, pop his head up. And you just plug this up. Nope, not there. Come here. There you go, plug this into the front of the head. There we go. And so he still has waist articulation here. He's still got some side-to-side torso articulation. The shoulders can move up and down. Biceps swivel, hinged elbows, wrist swivel. His fingers move like that. He's got ball jointed hips. And because of the transformation, he's got a ball joint actually there on the side of his knee. You can get a lot of really good poses out of there. There's a hinge there, a swivel, all sorts of great movement in these guys. Actually, want to have these blue parts facing forward. I thought that was the case, but there we go. I just did it wrong. There we go. So the blue part's facing forward. There he is in robot mode. Maybe you do want to have these out. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, okay, I guess you do want to have those heel spurs out. Because there's so many joints, it's hard to get them all. Once you get them all lined up, he's great, but it takes a few minutes to get them all lined up. So there he is in robot mode, and then he's got his weapons. You can store them on his arms like this. You can have him hold them in his hand. He's got kind of a giant blaster and a smaller blaster over here. Furrow is a little bit more simple. Again, since we've already folded these come off. These are his guns. We're going to go ahead and pop those off the side anyway. The wheels come around to his back, and you can kind of just go ahead and leave those in place. Unpeg his arms from right here. Fold them back. They transform exactly the same way as rotors. Flip them down, rotate them around to face forward. Lift up the cockpit here. Unpeg his legs. And they do something very similar, except the wheels end up down here. You want to unclip these. Flip the feet up. Rotate this piece out. These are a little easier because they don't have the jet fins sticking out and causing problems when going like this here. And then bring his foot, rotate that up and around and into the body, just like that. Foot down, and then this comes out to sit kind of right in the knee joint there. Just kind of have his wheels sit on the back of his leg there. And same over here. I'll rotate this way. This out of the way. Come on. There we go. That back around. Rotate that up into the body. Foot. This whole piece comes down like this and up onto his back here. This piece comes down, actually lifts up and comes down like this. Close up the cockpit, snap that onto the back of his body. Does this come up here? No, that sits right there. And then the wheels, the top part of the wheels, or half of the wheel, let's see where it does this, kind of comes out to stick out just to give him a little detail on the back. Kind of looks like he's got thrusters on his back. You just lift half the wheel up. You can see where it splits there for the Q on the body there. And then the same thing, flip his head open. Again, you may need a little piece to flip his head up. Snap that back together. And then you can open, actually before you open up this up, take his, this right here, and it's going to peg in right here behind his head. Come on, line up. There you go. Oh, come on and get the other one lined up. There we go. Peg it in behind his head, and then peg the wheels in behind that. Oh, come here, you. There you go. You don't have to pull those pieces out if you don't want to, but it's there. And there is a Furrow in robot mode. And again, you can see the yellow versus blue here on these guys. And then these guns open up like this. There we go. Turn into pistols. And he can wear them on his hips. There's a little tab here. You can tab them onto his hips if you want when they're folded up. It's a little easier. But you can use that little hole the same way they mounted in car mode and just plug them onto his hips. Or you can give him pistols. And what's cool is, like, if you take off his spoiler and his pistols and take off his pistols, the core bodies are very similar with a few minor differences, just like the original Autobot clones. But it's really cool how they got the same, all the same basic joints and posability and transformation, except one turns into a car and one turns into a jet. Like I said, there are some minor differences. You can tell the two apart. They're not 100% identical clones, but neither were the originals. So yeah, like I said, they've got some really nice heft to them, really good plastic. Despite all of that twisting and turning and flipping, they never feel like they're going to break. And they're really, really cool. Like, just as a quick size comparison, here they are with a G1 Brainstorm, just to give you an idea of about how big they are. Mostly because I just wanted to bring G1 Brainstorm in to work with me. That's really what it all came down to. But yeah, so they're about they're a little shorter than old G1 Headmasters, but they're nice size figures. And like I said, they do have a deceptive. They're deceptively heavy when you first open them up, which is really cool. I love to have that weight to them, and really kind of neat. But yeah, like I said, they've got the knee joint, they've got the hip joint. There's that's a ball joint, so you got a good range of motion there in the hip. Just due to transformation, you get a lot of range of movement in the leg. The feet do tilt. You've got you've got this extra piece back here for stability. The shoulders, they can move. You don't have to lift this whole piece up. They do move this way as well as this way. Swivels there, bicep swivel, hinge elbow. And you got a little bit of movement again for transformation at the elbow there as well, as well as the wrist swivel. And the opening fingers, the heads are on ball joints. They're a little limited due to the neck. This, it's a squared off neck under a squared off head, so you don't get a whole lot of movement out of them. But they are on ball joints. You can have them looking in different angles. So yeah, if you have any nostalgia for the Autobot clones, these guys are pretty cool. They're, like I said, they're very solidly made and lots of fun. Now, I mentioned earlier this little designer's kitting product 02. Here he is in his kind of Voltron-esque mode. You can, if you want, he does rotate at the waist and the hip, so you can flip him over and have him the way the legs work. You can bring him around like this, flip him over, and turn him into like more of a Ravage-esque cat. This piece even flips up if you want the tail up here. So you can flip, like I said, you can rotate all the pieces, rotate the legs, and have him look more like just a less detailed, not quite as Voltron-esque cat. But yeah. Now his weapon mode, flip this up, bring this in. Actually, I'm going to leave these back. I'll lift his legs up a little bit. There's like I said, there's hinges everywhere. There's ball joint hips, this little hinge here, the way the feet work, the way they rotate around. It can go all the way around the leg to reverse the legs. There's all kinds of poses you can get out of this guy. Yeah, so bring the legs back like this. Have them sit kind of up like this. But you want to pull these hips out, and that'll unlock this piece, which flips out to form. You can see that it would just reveal that peg. And then these legs sit back here like this. You can pop these back into the body here. Collapse in. There you go. You see they collapse in right against the body like that. And then this whole piece, you lift this. I'm going to open up this piece right here. Lift this whole assembly up. Take his lion head, rotate it around, lift it up and rotate it around to here. And then you see that it unveils kind of a blaster tip here. This piece comes over. And this peg right here is going to go into this peg right here. You want to, when you fold this down, you want to fold it down at this upper peg. If you fold it down at that bottom joint, nothing will line up back here. So you want to make sure that bottom joint stays in place and just fold it down at this upper pin. And then that should allow you to peg this in right here. And then his cat legs can kind of come down here and fold up against his body. You can see the mechanism here, the lots of pins and hinges. We just kind of fold these down. Is that the right way? Let me make sure I'm folding the legs properly. He also comes with the same little instruction sheet here. No, okay, I did do that wrong. These legs come around and fold under like this. But they do come down here. They do come out to the side here. And kind of sit right on top of these other legs. So again, those reversible legs come down here and kind of fill in that space in the back here. I did that wrong. This comes around this way. There we go. And peg you back together. And then you've got like a little rifle that these guys can use. Come on. Again, it's an iffy rifle, but it's, like I said, it's the designer's kitting product. It's a little freebie that comes with it. And you can have them Anybody with a 5mm peg can hold it. I'll flip this piece back up. Basically, just flip that down and get it out of the way so this can rotate. But you can have either one of them hold it in their hand. And you can use the Voltron Lion Ravage as a weapon. And you can kill Furrow with it. So yeah, a little bit of a long review, but there's a lot to go over there. Some really neat stuff going on with these guys. Like I said, they're solid, they're cool, they're well built. I do wish this stuck a little better in vehicle mode. I wish there were just maybe a secondary way of attaching that to the or a secondary location point to secure it to the vehicle mode. But it's a minor complaint considering, like I said, unless you manhandle it, it should you just grab it in the wrong spot, it should stay together. Oh, this piece on the gun, this piece goes under here. Forgot to show that off. The wing piece does have a slot to stay in on the gun mode. But lots of fun, really solid. Transformation, the leg transformation is a little scary the first couple times you do it, trust me. But it is possible. Like I said, the instructions, I do wish the instructions were bigger pictures, maybe more of a manual than just a double-sided sheet of paper, because I feel like I feel like the instructions are very comprehensive, but it would have been nice to have them laid out in a more natural format of going down versus kind of zigzagging across the page. And just having these pictures be a little bigger, especially some of these far out shots, would have been a huge benefit. But in light of that, they did include this cool little USB drive with the video transformation instructions on it. And that's a really neat idea. Like, I would not mind seeing some other companies start doing something like this. I think that's a really cool idea for these guys. So yeah, there, and then you get the little freebie extra guy there. And it's a great little set. But there is the Gemini twins, Furrow and Rotor, from X2 Toys. And like I said, stamp of approval. Aside from a few minor nitpicks I have with some of the transformation parts, they're very solid toys, and they look really good on the shelf. And like I said, I mentioned these kind of feel like Fans Project type plastic. I guess I should have flipped these landing gear in earlier as well. But they aesthetically, they look like they should fit in there. They look like they'd fit in with some of the steel core aesthetic. They've got that really nice squared off look to them. I love their head sculpts. I do wish maybe they had a little bit of like silver on the faceplate. Maybe I'll add that in later just to make their faces a little bit more distinct from their helmet, or just something, because it is just a solid chunk of red. They got some really nice face sculpts, and they kind of get washed out just by being the same red as the body around them. But they are very neat. So there's Furrow and Rotor from X2 Toys. All right, real quick at the very end, something I forgot to mention, and I wish I had remembered. It was something I want to point out. These little black spots on their chests are actual rub signs, like they're heat sensitive. It's a little hard to get them to show up because they cool down very quickly, and because of this ridge up here, it's kind of hard to get in there and get the whole thing. They don't have actual faction logos, but if you it takes a minute to get them warmed up. And like I said, it will fade very quickly. But Furrow has like a little shape of a race car. I don't even know if you saw it. Hidden on his chest. In the style of a faction symbol. It's got those same kind of sharp edges and things. Let's see if I can't zoom in a little closer here and really get this in focus. See, he's got a little shape of a race car there, and Furrow has kind of a shape of his jet mode on his chest as well. You kind of saw the point of it there. Like I said, getting all the way into the corners is really hard. You can do the breath trick if you breathe on it; it'll help. But there you go. You can kind of see his jet mode there. Like I said, you can see how fast they fade once you rub them. Once you stop rubbing them. But that's kind of cool that they included those little rub sign faction symbols on them. All right, that's it. Sorry, just a little addendum to show that off. But there you go. There is Furrow and Rotor from X2 Toys.